So friends, it's just now 4 o'clock Central Time. Let's go ahead and officially begin. Just a really big, warm welcome to you today for joining this meditation program. I think most of us are probably in Fort Worth, Texas, and wherever you are, if you are in Fort Worth, I hope you're cozy in this rainy day. Looks like it's going to be here for a couple of days. And if you're watching this later, I welcome you as well. This session is recorded, so if you find some relief through this meditation session today and you want to watch it later, it'll be available to you to watch as many times as you wish. I wanted to introduce Project 4031, of course, who is hosting this program. When they asked me to lead this meditation, I didn't hesitate at all. It was a big, huge yes, and I'm so honored. So thank you so much to Project 4031. And in case you're not as familiar with what they do, I know we have a good mix of people watching today. Project 4031 is a nonprofit here in Fort Worth, Texas. That's where I am as well. And they offer no-cost services to terminally ill children and adults to strengthen end-of-life stories. They strive to make a difference in the lives that they serve when it counts the most. And really across the United States and around the world, a lot of people don't experience their own end-of-life story to the fullest. And so Project 4031, their mission is to change that and enhance that. They want to make this journey as gratifying and comfortable as possible. And so today, this program is just for all of you, in the hopes that our sessions together will create a little bit of relief, whether physically, mentally, spiritually, a little bit of solace. And so again, I am honored to be here, and I'm so glad that you're here today with me. So if you have never practiced mindfulness or meditation before, great. I'm glad you're here. You don't have to be advanced or even know what it is to really gain a lot of benefit from it. And I'll walk you through all the steps and we'll just see how it goes. The practice is really one of purposefully directing our attention. And we can direct our attention to a lot of different things. Today, we're going to use the senses, sight and sound, and a little bit of feeling into the hands. And so to start, you just need to get as comfortable as you can, whether that means lying down for you, that's great. You could sit in a chair. You could sit on the ground. It really doesn't matter. It just matters that you get as comfortable as possible. And feel free to move and kind of wiggle around and fidget anytime. And so I'll give you just a moment here to settle in to your most comfortable position for your own body today. All right, now the first step for today is to start to look around the room that you're in. And just name some really inanimate, neutral objects. So for example, for me, I'm in my office at home, and I'm going to silently, in my head, name lamp, book, plant. So just look around the room. You can say it out loud if you want, or you can say it silently in your head and see if you can name like 10 things that are just really neutral for you. 10 objects in your space. And allow your head to turn, if it's comfortable, so that you can really see those objects. Like let your eyes rest on them just for a couple of seconds. And just let your brain receive that neutrality. And then when you feel like you've named everything you can and you've named 10 or 12 objects, just allow your head to rest back in its neutral position. And then take your hand right in front of you. And if it doesn't work for you to lift your hand, you can keep your hand resting down and look down, or you could just imagine and visualize your hand. There's no hard and fast rules here. And then turn your hand, if you are looking at it right in front of you, so that you can see your palm. So you're looking at the palm of your hand and you're just looking at all the lines, all the wrinkles on the skin of the palm. Maybe you wiggle your fingers a little bit. And just notice if you start to make any storyline about your hand, right? Sometimes looking at something as simple as our hand brings in other thought. And so just notice if that happens, if you start to make some judgments or if there's a memory associated there. And see if you can just come back to this skin on the hand. So start to move your hand in front of you very slowly. And when I say slowly, I mean slow it down even more than you are now. And you can keep your eyes open if you would like, and you can keep your eyes on the palm of your hand. Or if you feel comfortable, you can choose to close your eyes and just keep very slowly moving this hand. And if you get tired, just relax the hand down. No big deal. Can you slow it down even more and even begin to make the shape of a figure 8? So the hand kind of lowers and then it lifts. It lowers and then it lifts. And now relax your hand back down to wherever it wants to sit. Your lap, your chair, your thigh. And see if you can keep your attention on the hand. And when the hand now comes to stillness, it's no longer elevated, it's no longer moving. What do you feel there? And you can let the awareness spread to both hands if you wish now. Perhaps you feel a sense of a pulse or even some tingling in your hand. Maybe you sense a little bit of pain in the hand. Or maybe for you it's numbness. Numbness is totally a feeling that we experience. And so just seeing what's here in the hands today. We call this the felt sense of the hands. And then if your hands are resting on your thighs or if they're resting on your body, can you feel the weight of your hands? Feeling that weight. If your hands are resting on a pillow or a bed, can you feel the touch of that cloth against your hand? And now you do have the choice again, always, if you would like to keep your eyes closed or if you'd like to open them. It's really whatever you feel safest doing. So you might continue to this next part with eyes closed and really realize that it's too much. Perhaps it feels overwhelming. And in that case, you'll open your eyes and just let your eyes rest on something neutral in your room. If you have a window, it would be really great to put your eyes on some green, if you can see any plant life outside. So whether eyes are open or closed, it's your choice. We'll now open up to sound. And as you open up to sound in your environment, we'll have all different unique experiences with this, depending on where we are. And just notice what you hear in your space. And if there's something loud in your immediate space, see if you can extend that sense outside the room. Is there anything happening outside you can hear? And you may even begin to notice that there are really small pockets of quiet between each sound. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have a very loud weed blower happening outside. But every so often, the man shuts off the machine and I hear a little silence and a little space. So I'm here listening for that space. I'm here listening for that quiet. It's almost as though the sound is layered, isn't it? Kind of depending on where you are and how you're feeling. And as we did with our sight, can you begin to name a few sounds? Just really bringing a neutral outlook to what's happening in your environment. Name 2 or 3 sounds out loud or quietly in your mind. And now let's go back to the hands and stop there. So you choose, eyes open or closed, it really does not matter. Both are great. See if you can feel the weight of your hands wherever they're resting. The contact point of your hand on your body or your hand on the surface that it's on. And we use the hands today, but you could use any part of your body. The hands are just really mostly neutral, but you could use your feet as that exploration. You could use your ankles. And once you have felt into the sense of the hands, either weight or texture, let's now come back to our sense of sight. And so now, if you haven't yet, do open your eyes. And I'll give you a full minute in silence to maybe see if you can pick a few new objects that you didn't name the first time. You could even just look down and use the space immediately around you. We tend to look upward, but perhaps we look downward. And then steady your eyes and steady your head, and please bring one hand right over your chest if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, you could just imagine that your hand or a loved one's hand is right here. And if you are actually having hand on heart, perhaps you give yourself a few little taps, like your loved one would for you or you would for your loved ones. And one thing I always say to myself after I've practiced any kind of meditation is I tell myself I did a good job for showing up. Sometimes it's easier said than done to come do something like this. And so I'd like you to tell yourself you did good work today and you did a good job for showing up. It's a big deal. I'd like to offer a closing reading from the poet David Whyte. If you want to know what book it's from, it's this beautiful collection of his poems called Consolations. I find our meditation practice is quite a solace during challenging times, and this piece is in fact called Solace. I'm just sharing with you one paragraph. Solace is not an evasion, nor a cure for our suffering, nor a made-up state of mind. Solace is a direct seeing and participation. It's a celebration of the beautiful coming and going, the appearance and disappearance of which we have always been a part. Solace is not meant to be an answer, but rather an invitation. An invitation through the door of pain and difficulty to the depth of suffering, but simultaneous beauty in the world that the strategic mind itself cannot grasp nor make sense of. I hope today brought you a little exploration of something new. And the reason I chose senses for us today is that when we open to touch, sight, sound, we can even do this with taste, it gives our mind a little something different and neutral to think about temporarily. And in that temporary redirecting of attention, there can be a lot of relief and release. And if you didn't feel that today, it's okay. Our experience is different each time we come to these practices. So all that matters is that you came, you did a good job. I send you all the love, and this, as I mentioned before we started, will be available as a recording to you. And in the screen that you're watching, my email address is below in the description. You can reach out to me with questions or with comments anytime. Thanks again, and much love to you.